I don't even have a paper. I usually have a paper with the schedule and who's left and what's going on. I don't have one because we're down to 2 teams. Congrats to the Eagles and the Chiefs. They're going to battle it out in New Orleans. Yesterday was a sort of day that made so many people happy, so many people upset. It built legacies. Saquon Barkley is the Obi-Wan Kenobi, the only hope to take down and stop Patrick Mahomes from winning 3 in a row. Can I tell you that Joshua Williams is on the show? Cornerback, special teams, dynamo, vibes, an 11 out of 10. He feels like he could star in a sitcom. He's so funny. He will be on the show. We also will have Robert Griffin III, also hilarious and also very serious and probably has lots of things. I want to talk about the quarterbacks. He's very high on Jalen Hurts. Should we all be? Can they do it? We saw this matchup just a couple of years ago. Could the Bills have done something differently? Do the Bills have to change something going forward? Will they ever win? I think it's a fair question. If you're a Bills fan, is it ever going to be us? Is it ever going to be our turn? Will Josh ever beat the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes? All fair questions that we are going to dig into on Victory Monday. Wild thing that this Joshua Williams, who's going to be on our show, has never lost a playoff game, Matthew Hamilton. Can I grab that monitor on? I think I asked for it before. Hi, Ham. Joshua Williams was in there on special teams, did his thing, joining the show. I think we got him a homegrown sponsorship deal, by the way. They're in Kansas City. They win in their backyard. He's never lost a playoff game, this kid.
It's unreal to think about. 9-0 in his career in the playoffs. That's something I definitely want to get into a little bit later in the week when we get to underreactions. We got to talk about that 2022 draft class for the Chiefs, because not only have none of them ever lost a game, but they've been so important to keeping this dynasty alive and this repeat a possibility.
He did his thing against A.J. Brown the first time these two faced each other in the Super Bowl. So I'm sure he'll have some insights, memory lane. I want to hear what he thinks about the matchup. But we're down to 2. If we want to Bills Chiefs here, there's no full screen, I don't think. There's no graphic that shows these two. We know who it is. We know where they're playing. We know when they're playing. It's a rematch. FanDuel Sportsbook does, as you can see there on your screen, an early 1.5-point fave this morning. So we'll see. I imagine that's going to change a little bit, although both teams came out of this matchup unscathed. Not many question marks health-wise, at least on both sides. The offensive line, of course, was a bit of a shuffle, which is testament to Jalen Hurts and company staying above the fray when things got a little hairy there.
Yeah, and I think when you look at it, that's around what I think you would expect the line to be with the history the Chiefs have had. And but I do think we got the 2 teams that have been playing the best football most of the year, the teams that are here, and I think it kind of worked out the way that it should.
Were the Chiefs playing the best football most of the year?
15-1 start with Mahomes.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue that as much as we want to.
These are the 2 most hated teams, and I think it's so fun. It makes it enjoyable to me. It makes it an enjoyable watch. These are 2, that's my human storyline of this. Nobody wanted to see these 2 teams. I think it's so funny because it's such an F you, then beat us. You don't want it? Then come and beat us. And nobody could, not even the best of the conferences. And let's start with these Chiefs. Nobody wants to see this happen. Nobody wants to see them win. Well, get over it, because they are now the first team seeking immortalization as a team that can win 3 in a row, which is amazing. And it's another year of the Chiefs look vulnerable. That Raiders game, I'm sitting there in the Bahamas, rolling my eyes, drinking mojitos, watching these people lose their minds as the Chiefs almost lose to the Raiders. It wasn't going to happen. It doesn't matter. They're the best team. They're inevitable. They had their best performance last night. Eagles to 2. We'll get to that in a second here. RG3 on the show. Joshua Williams on the show of the Chiefs. But the 32 points were the most they've scored in a game since September. Okay? of 2023, by the way, not 2024. This is the best they've looked in so long. As sharp, as locked in from the beginning, right? That first drive was, I mean, Romo said masterclass, okay? Just a masterclass in what you do. We know Andy Reid on script is unbelievable. Mahomes cold-blooded. The Bills had no answers. They were not afraid to test the secondary. They were not afraid to test what is a vulnerability on the Bills side, and we just decided to ignore it. Team, it's their year. This is a bottom 10 pass defense that the Chiefs were like, okay, bet, let's do this thing. Everything was working. Kareem Hunt, like just that in a microscope. Kareem Hunt drafted, let go, awful thing happened, comes back 3 weeks, 2 weeks into the season, and now you got Brett Veach and you got Travis Kelce saying, we did this for him, we want him to know. Kareem Hunt was out there playing in the confetti longer than anybody else. He was like the last one off the field because he hasn't seen it before. He's got this arc, this moment of retribution, I guess, redemption, grace given to him. It's like an unbelievable thing. They're rookies, Xavier Worthy. Huge difference maker. Bills fans, that has to suck extra for you. 7 touches, career high, 101 total yards and a score. We went back to draft night. I mean, it was talked about on draft night because when the trade happened with Kansas City, you just thought about the fact that the Bills were on the board when Patrick Mahomes was on the board and they traded with the Chiefs. And they didn't take him because they were like, well, Tyrod Taylor. Not great. Not a great vibe. And I feel for Bills fans. We're going to get to that. But if you're the Chiefs, like, you're sitting pretty. You come out unscathed. After that first drive, I texted my sister-in-law Amanda and said, you're good. They could come back, but you're still going to win this game. First drive was perfect. And Josh Allen and company had a slow start. They were spit and dust that first drive. Looked a little jittery, wasn't together. You have to be perfect. I said this, you have to be perfect and then some to beat the Chiefs. They were not. And by the way, the Chiefs fumbled one, but that was uncharacteristic. That was a little like, shock, horror. Are they going to, didn't matter. They gave you one and it didn't matter. Do we get to the Spags part of this now? Oh my gosh. He's so good. He's so fun. He's so scary. He's so like the stopper of all sneaks in Spags. It's insane. He's dialing up blitzes. He's shutting down the tush push. You know, fourth down, you think like the first 90 times the tush push isn't working, maybe you get away from it. I don't know. You tell me, everybody. But it worked on the Spags side of things to disrupt and take it away. Nobody else can. He can. I don't know. You tell me why that is. Maybe RG3 will have an answer for that. He's not in Hamilton, the conversation for head coach. I wonder if it's like, but he's said, I would like to be a head coach. I was texting, so not to make this personal, but who cares? It's personal. I worked in St. Louis. My first NFL job was working for the St. Louis Rams in the Edward Jones Dome under the stewardship of Steve Spagnuolo and his wonderful angel of a partner and wife, Maria. And they were incredible, salt-of-the-earth people. It did not work. It was a failure. It was, let's say it's his failure, the team, the culture failure, top to bottom. All of these things were going on. Any human person wants another bite at that apple. Absolutely. Yeah. You look at him, it's interesting because he's got it made there. Do you think he just something flipped and he just decided, oh, no, I'm better served as a defensive coordinator? I don't think people think that way. And Spags has said, I want another chance. We have people last night being asked about it. Everyone's like, does the cute little thing I do with you know, the Lou Anarumos of the world and the, you better keep Ben Johnson in there, you better build, like, you know, you better keep your play caller out there, or whatever it is, defensive schemer, or whatever, mastermind. For some reason, the greatest thing that the Chiefs have maybe done is somehow keep this man in the building. I don't know how it happens. I don't know. We're talking Bieniemy. We've talked about him having a coaching situation. At least he's in a conversation more than Spags is. It doesn't make sense. I truly don't know enough. But the fact, like, do you have this dynasty without him? Not a chance. Not a chance.
No, it started when he got there. Their first AFC Championship loss was with Bob Sutton against the Patriots. They decided to make that tough decision, make the switch to Spags after that, and the rest is history. He is such an integral part to the whole thing. And it is amazing it hasn't happened again for him yet. You would think at some point here, but maybe he's being discerning too. He knows he
For
has
sure.
one more chance at it. He doesn't want to just take the first job that comes up, or maybe there's talk of him replacing Andy when Andy decides to walk away. And
That's a
he's,
great
you know,
point.
that. So
But the
we'll see as
ability
this
of
unfolds,
Veach and Co. and Clark and everyone to just keep them together, like we do not give enough love. Because then we're thinking, how long is this dynasty going to go? Patriots for 20 years. This is like just getting started. And the success that the Chiefs have had, you pointed out, it's happened in such short time. It's sort of insane and unprecedented. It's Michael Jordan in the 90s, like, if you want to get into it that way. And that's the sort of legacy we're talking about that people are hating on, that Mahomes is building. It is now entering. And I love that Brady has to call this game. That might, like, he's going to do something that you didn't do, Tom. It's uncharted territory, as you can see here. The legacy is building beyond just the three-peat element. He's now the first quarterback to take his team to the Super Bowl 5 times in a 6-year span. 5 Super Bowl appearances. That ties John Elway for the second most by a quarterback all time. He's got 9-game playoff win streak going. And his 17 career wins in the postseason put him alone in second place behind Fox Booth Dynamo, Tom Brady, who, by the way, I thought was very cute yesterday, very fun, and I'm so excited that he's getting to call the Super Bowl. I think it'll be great, and he'll do an excellent job. The thing about Patrick is that he's 29, so if you're a Bills fan, if you're a Ravens fan, if you're an NFL fan and you're like, I hate this, he's only 29, kids. It's going to go on for a long, long time. We'll get into more of what Kansas City's doing throughout the week. We do want to touch on the Bills here because our hearts go out to you. Everyone knows a Bills fan. Everyone was rooting. Everyone was a Bills fan this week going into this game. I don't love the Kansas City, like, punching down. Like, you're the big brother. We get it. Like, let them fall away and be heartbroken in peace. I didn't love seeing some of the things I was seeing online in regards to the Bills, who just are gutted this morning. It's like hard to even like eulogize or try to like get people off. It was close. All these games are close. Does that help you feel better that you're right there, or does it make it even worse for you? Just crushing to see Josh look like that again at the end of a game for the 4th straight time. 4 straight is crazy work. And there is a true sadness. There is despair. I don't even know the words here. There's a sadness because the way I look at it, the question, what do you have to show for how good you are? Sure, you play for yourself. You get these fans going in the middle of the cold, in the blustery weather. You get them going off the mat after everything that happened decades ago, and now it's happening again, except you're losing to the same dude on the other side nonstop. It has to be maddening. It's sort of the definition. I want to say, what option do you have? Get up off the mat, add some pieces, try again. But that's like truly the definition of insanity, isn't it? Just going and knocking your head against a wall. The lost, 3 of these losses have been so close, like 3 points and stuff. It's like, ugh. And then there's the calls, and you can bring up the play call, or you can flip the penalties, all of that. The Bills just did not have it. Here's the problems I had with the Bills yesterday. You needed to be perfect and then some. You can't start slow like that. You started jittery. When the tush push is happening and it's not working, I don't care that, and I think Sean McDermott said this after the game, and there was a lot of like, be aggressive, whatever. When it's worked all year, that's fine. Not against them. I had this weird feeling it wasn't going to work all morning. Like, I don't think Josh is getting his anytime touchdown. I just don't. I have this weird feeling it's what Spags has been in the lab working on. And Spags clearly had an answer to it, to the guards, to this, to that, to all. Adjust. I don't know, maybe just like run a regular play. Maybe just give it to James Cook. There was none of that. It was, let's keep doing this definition of insanity. I would also say, like, can we just attack downfield a little bit more? This was not the Bills' A game last week. The better team won the game yesterday. They didn't win the turnover battle, which is insane, but the better team did win. You can't tell me otherwise. And now there's these crazy questions, which I would just like everyone to just walk away and go through some sort of grieving process, and then let's discuss this when we're trying to get better. Because there's no other option. There really isn't. We're going to try this again. We're going to try this again. We're going to try to be the team that stops Patrick Mahomes from doing this and going to the Super Bowl for a 4th straight time next year when he's just 30 years old. So these questions about, I don't know, is Josh the guy? Can he beat them? Will he ever beat them? Josh is thinking that right now, too. We have to believe the answer is yes, but we can't have it all be on Josh. That's when he plays the best, balancing it, being more run-heavy. It was effective. I think James Cook was running at a 6-yard per clip energy. Saquon will be trying to do that. But you have to be perfect and then some. You have to be aggressive. You cannot have what happened. You know, Kincaid has to catch it. I don't care that he shouldn't have caught it. He has to catch it. He has to Edelman that thing. Hamilton. It's so hard because it's so much to put on. You know, a Kincaid even, like a first-round draft pick. Edelman's done it in big. You think that helmet catch, that stuff happens in these unfathomable, improbable catches. I know it wasn't coming right to him. I know Shakir was open. I know RG3 is going to have to talk about it. But I almost want to say, like, it becomes like, can Josh do it? Becomes the question. I don't know. I hate the question. But is it a fair question for Bills fans to have? I kind of think so on the day after.
Yeah, it feels fair on the day after. I mean, but that's the thing. If he isn't who is, because right now it's nobody. You know, outside of Tom Brady and Joe Burrow, nobody's beaten Mahomes in a playoff game. Still to this day, which is insane to think about. So again, you're right. You don't stop trying. You keep coming back to it, and I think we are seeing this evolution out of Josh, out of this team as a whole. It doesn't give you any solace that feels like they were closer this year, but
we're going to take a break.
Just keep chipping away.
We're going to take a break.
It breaks your way at some point.
We'll get to Eagles Commanders in a minute. It breaks your way at some point. I don't know how they get out. And then it's like, we'll take a break here. Do you add a number 1 wide receiver now? Is that what you were missing? Were you missing a true number? Like, I don't know. We'll talk Eagles and Commanders, and we'll get back to this game between the Chiefs and the Bills with RG3, who was working all day yesterday, making time for us today. The absolute best. Jalen Hurts, the best quarterback in the NFC. I saw that on Twitter and said, can we please get RG on the show? Please. Oh, man. I could go on and on about this, Ham.
Yeah. It's tough. It's kind of like what we talked to with Lamar. Like, we have these great players that it's Mahomes and the inevitability. It's just costing them all these opportunities. It's tough. And I kind of like that we're at a point where it's like, I think people are a little bit less reactionary with these quarterbacks, but at some point somebody's got to break through. You got to think the talent level between Lamar and Josh and Joe is
everyone's like, you can't win. You can't. And I'm like, insert gif of Joe Burrow here. Too soon?
Yeah.
It's not like they were perfect and lost, I guess is my whole thing.
No.
That tush push thing really pissed me off.
Yeah, they made their share of mistakes, and it could have been worse. I mean, Josh put the ball in harm's way a couple times and got away with it. But yeah, there were a lot of moments that you can go back to there and look at things they could have done differently or could have executed better.
People hate these teams, dude. They hate these teams. But now it'll be very cute to see the Eagles rise as America's team. America's little cutie. America's little sweetheart. Happen. I do want to say this. Saquon Barkley is, if you don't like either of these teams, that's who you're watching for and rooting for. Who doesn't want? I mean, even Giants fans.
Yeah.
Everybody.
It's hard not to root for him.
Our Giants GM, wants him to have a Super Bowl. Even Shane probably wants him to have a Super Bowl. That's who you're rooting for. He's like the Obi-Wan only hope for the tilt. What did you say? Yeah, I think all Giants fans want it for him. I do. What?
I think they do, and they don't. Yeah, it's hard. I don't think any Giants fan wants to see the Eagles with an Alo Lombardi. That's the hard part. In a in a vacuum, I think there is still so much appreciation there. But yeah, it's
So you'd
hard.
rather have the Chiefs win? If you're Giants fans, you think are
If
rooting for the
you're,
Chiefs? You really think so?
I think so.
I don't
Yeah,
think so. Let's take a
I
poll.
don't think they can
Giants
stomach
fans.
seeing
Giants
the
fans.
Eagles with a Lombardi. Yeah.
You're saying go Chiefs? No way.
I think so.
I'm excited.
RG3 is going to outrace everybody. Griffin looking in, Tony throws, touchdown.
That was a great throw.
Good friend is here, Pro Bowl quarterback, host of the Out of Pocket podcast. He's seen everywhere. I saw your picture with Lil Wayne yesterday with a smile on your face. The Commanders lost. Robert Griffin III, welcome to the show. Where would you like to start?
Okay, you had me. You had me till you brought up the Commanders losing. Okay, I'll start with Lil Wayne. Obviously, he's from New Orleans. My family is from New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
I lived there for a year, so I want to send that out to my whole family and see their reactions to that. So it was really cool to be on set with him and Rich and Gerald and Mooch. But then my day quickly soured.
Well, you like Jalen Hurts. You love Jaden Daniels. When you're watching this game, and you're looking at it from that Commanders angle, what went the wrongest?
The wrongest?
Yeah.
Wow.
What went wrong?
55 points. I'll say it this way, because you have to be critical and constructively critical of the teams, even if you love the team. So for Washington, I feel like we were outcoached. We got outclassed. And at the end of the day, it was heartbreaking to watch, because when you look at Jaden Daniels and him having the greatest rookie quarterback season of all time, and just the excitement around the city, the excitement within the building, it was quickly crushed. And Kay, let me take you down a story road of what it was like in the building for the Commanders this week. All right, they're coming out. They come off a big win against the Eagles in Week 16. And the coach is telling them, all right, guys, this guy, Saquon Barkley, has run for 146 yards, 150 yards, and us in back-to-back games. This is what you call a gut check type of game. You got to let him know on the first play of the game that it is not happening today. And then Saquon Barkley and his McDickums ran for a 60-yard touchdown on the first play of the game, crushed everybody. And at that moment, it almost felt like the game was over, because they had been talking about it all week. We got to stop the run. We got to do this. And they couldn't do it on the first play. And in his first 2 touches, he had 2 touchdowns. So for me, that was crushing to watch. It was heartbreaking as a fan. And as an analyst, the last thing that popped up was the fact that we actually did get back into the game, and it was 14-12. But then Jaden Daniels didn't even touch the ball again. Or should I say, when he touched the ball again, the score was 27-12.
Crazy.
We had the fumble, and the Eagles went on 2 touchdown drives. So it just wasn't meant to be. And Philly had the better roster, and their star players played better in that game.
Could Dan Quinn have done anything to change the outcome of the game?
I just think schematically, like I said, we were outcoached. They had free runners all over the place, whether it was on defense with the pressure they were bringing, with the 4 guys up front, or offensively, should I say defensively for Washington, just not having A.J. Brown matched up with the right guys. I do think that Marcus Lattimore not following for the entirety of the game was a little bit of a mistake. And I know he didn't have his greatest game either. But that's what you brought him in there for. You brought him in there to play against the big physical guy like A.J. Brown. And I don't really care if they fought. Like, let him keep fighting the rest of the game. Try to stay in that guy's head. But that to me was the only thing they probably could have done better. I just feel like Philly came to the game more prepared, and it showed.
I look at this loss, and the 2 losses that we had yesterday are so different. Like the Bills, it's you don't know what to say. You've lost everything. There are no answers. it's hard. It's like devastating in a way that, whereas with the Commanders' loss, and it's not a house money loss. It's just, well, I'm declaring victory and like, let's go next year. The only thing I can think of is that there's people out there that think it was a one and done, that it was a one shining moment, kind of like, let's, but I think I believe in them more than the Lions going into next year. How do you feel about where we leave off with this team, especially because of their quarterback who went through it yesterday, but I'm like, he's going to be better for that.
Yeah, I'm going to have a positive outlook because the Commanders are my team. And I know the fans at home of the Commanders feel restored. The fan base is restored. The fans there. The brand is now popping. Like, people like the Commanders name now. And what it goes to show you is that winning matters. And when you have Jaden Daniels, I think that's why you're very optimistic, because if you look at their free agent list this offseason, they got to either sign a bunch of guys back or go out and get more talent to put around Jaden Daniels. And that, to me, is really going to be the key. Our best players, some of our veteran players, made mistakes in this game that you wouldn't anticipate. On that very first run that Saquon had, Dante Fowler Jr. tripped and fell and made Bobby Wagner fall on his face dang near. But when he looked back up, Saquon was already in the end zone. So you have to look at this from a standpoint of, I don't think it was one and done, but there is something real about being able to live in that moment. And Washington was the hottest team in the NFL going into the NFC Championship game, and they got destroyed. So what that tells me, and it probably tells Adam Peters, is we're not good enough position by position right now, but we can get there through the draft and free agency. And I do think that Washington will be one of the hottest places that people actually want to go play in the offseason, which is a change. It hasn't been like that really in a really, really long time.
And they keep Cliff, I think. The Saints don't have a guy, but them retaining a coordinator, I'll get into this later this week, just how much it means to not have a, as you know, revolving door of coordinators, no matter who it is, just some stability for a young quarterback. Then they got these vets like Bobby Wagner. They've got, who knows what the Eckler, obviously talking about veteran mistakes and the like there. Zach Ertz even so dejected, so sad after that game, being embraced by Fletcher Cox. Like, who knows like what his future is. I saw there was an article on ESPN. I got to ask you about this because you and I have never talked about you and the Snyders, or any of that. But there was an article on ESPN that said that he effing hates it, the success in regard to the success that the Commanders are having. Why does that bring a smile to your face?
No, for me, I actually had this conversation with Eric Stonestreet on NFL Game Day morning. And he asked me if I remembered the first time I met him. And when he said it, I'm like, yeah, I remember that. It was at Cafe Milano. And I was actually talking to Eric, and Dan Snyder came by, and I'm in the middle of the conversation. And he put his hand on my shoulder and like shoved me somewhere else and said, we got to go. Now, Kay, when you meet someone for the first time, how you show up that first time is really how you show up every time in their mind. But Eric Stonestreet was talking to us on the show, and he said he understood in that moment, like, this wasn't Robert saying you're not important. This was Dan Snyder saying that you're not important. And I think for me, throughout my career, the relationship with the Snyders and me being a young 22-year-old kid, paraded around the city, meeting new people and doing different things, has just been completely misrepresented. And there'll be a time and place to talk about all those things. But when I saw the article, I wasn't shocked. I don't think anybody was shocked. It's like the ex-girlfriend who gets mad at you because you move on and you upgrade.
It'd be shocking probably to hear that Snyder would say, I'm so happy for them.
Yeah, correct. So that didn't shock me at all. If I'm being candid, the thing that shocked me was whoever was at that dinner and went and ratted on them, they probably shouldn't be at that dinner anymore. But that's neither here nor there. I don't think anyone is pulling punches or feels bad for Dan Snyder at this point in time. They're just excited about the future of what the Washington Commanders can be and what they can do with great leadership with Josh Harris there at the helm.
If that ownership was still in place and they did draft Jaden Daniels, would they be in the NFC Championship game?
Nah.
Why?
Nah.
I guess I'm trying to understand like the cultural.
Yeah, you were
part
digging today. Now you're digging. It's listen, Jaden's a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback that was the second pick in the draft. There's a lot of parallels there between myself and him. both athletic quarterbacks, took the league by storm my rookie years. And the difference is moving forward for Jaden, you can catch lightning in a bottle for 1 year, no matter how dysfunctional you are. I've been on many teams that were very dysfunctional that won conference, not conference champions, but won their division. When we won our division in 2012, our team was one of the most dysfunctional ever. I just didn't know about it because I did not know what I didn't know. And for Jaden, he doesn't have a GM, an owner, a head coach, or an offensive coordinator that are feuding. These guys all have a singular vision of him being successful, and they don't care who gets the credit. And that, to me, has been the greatest thing for Jaden, because going into this offseason, one, he's not injured. And then two, they're going to be able to build more around him with massive cap space. When I was there in 2012, we had no cap space in 2013. And we had all those things that were going on. And I think when you have a dark cloud around your organization, or you have things that is infighting, it only hurts your young quarterback. Jaden Daniels doesn't have that. Josh Harris, Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, and Cliff Kingsbury, they all want this guy to be successful. It's not your guy versus our guy. This is our guy. This is his city. And to me, that's going to lead to them being successful for the next 10 to 15 years. And I couldn't be happier for them.
Same. Love that. Commanders fans wanting to hear that today. We're declaring victory on the season and what's ahead. And now let's talk about these Eagles, because you're a Jalen Hurts guy. And then he made you look smart, because he had passing touchdown, 3 rushing touchdowns, 246 passing yards. What was the most impressive part of his performance yesterday? Because he looked incredible. It was his best game, I think, maybe of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I tweeted this out. 2 things I tweeted out. One, I said he was more mobile in this game than he was all year.
Ooh.
So I don't know what they told anybody about his injury, but somebody definitely made it seem like he was more hurt than he actually was, because I'm guessing he took the knee brace off and he was moving around and juking and jiving and going out there and being able to scramble. So I thought from a mindset standpoint, I love Jalen Hurts' mindset, whether it was in college, high school, now in the pros. He is just trying to win. So the next thing I tweeted out was he's the best quarterback in the NFC. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, no, what? What if you give this guy this roster and this guy the Eagles roster? Well, guess what, guys? None of those guys have the Eagles roster, okay? So Jalen Hurts don't feel bad for throwing the football to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert and hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley, or having one of the most dominant offensive lines we've ever seen. So it doesn't matter from there. All this guy cares about is winning. So I was happy for him in a way to see that he's able to be the first Eagles quarterback to get to 2 Super Bowls. And to me, he's very underrated. So I was tussling internally because the Commanders are my team. And I love Jaden Daniels. But I'm so happy for Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley.
Not to mention how impressive it is. I mean, at the quarterback spot, you got to give love to the fact that the O-line was a bit of a mess. And it is... I mean, how much credit does he deserve for staying cool when that's all going on with Jurgens and company? That's hard.
That's a great point, Kay, because Gerald McCoy actually brought this up on our pregame show yesterday. Early in the year with Cam Jurgens and those guys at the center position and the guards, they were having issues with the snaps. And you know, we talk about Jason Kelce retiring. That quarterback center exchange is so important. So now if Jurgens is not starting, you got Landon Dickerson in there, and then Landon Dickerson gets hurt. The fact that they were able to still operate their offense at such a high rate was really a testament to how deep they are as a team, but also how great of a leader that Jalen Hurts is. Didn't allow any of that stuff to get in the way of them getting the job done. And I'm more than sure that 60-yard touchdown in the beginning of the game on the first play made them all feel a lot more confident.
If they win the Super Bowl, the Eagles, is Saquon Barkley the best free agent acquisition of all time?
Ooh, I'm gonna take a page out of my guy Marcus Freeman's book and say it's one of, because I'd have to do some research.
Tom
first.
Brady would be the other one. Tom was a free agent in 2020, and then he won Super Bowl 55 during COVID, of course. But like outside of that, I can't think of another free agency acquisition.
Let's compare those two, though, right?
Okay.
Why was Tom's so significant? It was because he won it without Belichick, right? And it was essentially the same roster that Jameis Winston had the year before. So it was just, hey, Tom was the missing piece. The reason Saquon's, in my opinion, is better than Tom's is because of what happened with the Giants.
Yeah.
I really believe that Saquon is a player that people can see themselves in. Yes, not all of us have McDickens for legs, right? Not all of us can run 60, have like what 60+ yard touchdowns, the most in NFL history, including the playoffs in a season. Not all of us can do that, but all of us can feel and see ourselves in someone who wasn't appreciated where they were. Right. You pour your heart and your soul into something and you just don't feel like it's being reciprocated by your boss or by the job that you work. But then you go somewhere else and you are appreciated. They pay you what you believe you have earned, and then they allow you to go out and be your best version of yourself. There's this quote out there about water costs, $4 at the grocery store, $7 on a plane, and maybe it's $14 at the club. Who knows? But the water didn't change. Its location changed. So Saquon became his true value because he changed his address. He changed his zip code. I think all of us can feel that. So you root for guys like that. I'm so happy for him and his family.
We have a full screen here. He needs 29 yards in this Super Bowl to pass TD for the most in a single season all time, including the playoffs. Now, we saw James Cook do his thing. It was 6 yards per carry. I feel like Saquon Barkley is Obi-Wan Kenobi, Star Wars vibe. He is the only hope that everybody can rally around. It has to be him. As good as Jalen is, and Jalen, like that thing to A.J. Brown that was next level, this is on Saquon, and he knows it. Can he do it?
Yeah, he can definitely run for 29 yards. I think.
Can he beat them?
Can he beat the Chiefs by himself? No, he cannot beat them by himself. I'm not making my pick right now, Kay. We got 2 weeks.
I know.
We can do this for 2 weeks, but I do think there's going to be a lot of people hate watching this game. And I tweeted out that I think the NFL struck TV gold because Floyd Mayweather, a lot of people watch Floyd Mayweather because they want to watch him lose. You have the first team in league history to make it back to the third Super Bowl who's trying to three-peat. That is a storyline, whether you love the Chiefs or you hate the Chiefs. For the Eagles, they got the best roster in all of football. And they got this guy that you just talked about, that we just talked about in Saquon Barkley, who is someone you root for. So if they're going to win, it's going to be the same way they beat the Commanders. It's going to be the same way they've beaten a lot of teams this year. It's running the football and allowing Jalen Hurts to be efficient. Yes, in Super Bowl 57, he was able to throw for a bunch of yards and have better stats than Patrick Mahomes, but that's not their recipe for winning. They got to allow Saquon to get 100+ yards, 20+ carries, and I think he's going to break that record. I just hope Terrell Davis doesn't come out and say he doesn't want him to play in the Super Bowl. Nothing like that. Shout out to my guy Eric Dickerson. I'm just playing, ED. I'm just playing.
I want to get your thoughts on the crucial call early in the fourth quarter. Let's go Bills-Chiefs here. Okay. Bills are driving, 1-point lead. Allen called short on the quarterback sneak. Did it look like he got the first down to you?
Yeah, it did. It looked like he got the first. And typically, like when you go inside of an offensive huddle, and we're on Thursday, we're talking about short yardage and goal line. Or Friday, the day we do that, short yardage and goal line on Friday. They always tell you, listen, if we do the QB sneak, they're going to give it to us. More times than not, that's exactly what happens. You do the QB sneak. No one can see with 22 bodies all in there at the line of scrimmage where exactly the ball is. So the ref typically just takes a half step forward or whatever it is and gives you the first down. The Chiefs stopped 3 of those bad boys. So I stopped running it. That's the most stops on quarterback sneaks we've seen.
Crazy.
Like, it's a crazy amount of years or maybe even ever. I just would stop running, but I did think they got the first, but the ref said they didn't. They reviewed it and said they couldn't have conclusive evidence that they got the first down. So you got to stop. They can't keep whining about that. It is what it is. If you can't get a yard in football, you don't deserve to win.
Heard. I agree with you. I don't think that decided the game. Yeah.
I don't think it decided the game. And man, if you guys want to go check something out, go listen to I keep bringing this guy up, but go listen to Eric Stonestreet talk about the reps and what he did on info game day morning. I was like, yo, this guy is unbelievable. Like, the Chiefs, if you can't catch the ball, right? And I know it was a hard catch by Dalton Kincaid.
Let's see it.
Right, a hard attempt. if you can't catch the ball, that is not the referee's fault. They're not cheating for the Kansas City Chiefs to win if you can't get a yard on a quarterback sneak. If there's a roughing the passer, a pass interference, or a late hit out of bounds, that's not the refs cheating for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's your player making a wrong play at the wrong moment in the wrong time. And that's what the Chiefs tend to do. They make the right play. This play, though, that you have on the screen with the catch, that's a very difficult catch to make. Can he make it? Yes. But you know what? No one has pointed this out the entire day. And last night. I've watched the tape back multiple times. Josh Allen actually could have adjusted the protection and got that blitz picked up. But no one is talking about that because I think there's a fear right now amongst the media to criticize Josh Allen because he has been so great. And I do think Josh Allen is a great quarterback. But they're in an empty formation. They motion Khalil Shakur into the back to have him run that bubble. If Josh Allen simply gave I don't know what they call it, but it's an RL call, and it borrows the backside guard and takes them to the right, they would pick up that blitz, and he would have had an opportunity to hit Dalton Kincaid for a massive gain with the entire blitz picked up. And if they didn't pick it up, he still would have been able to throw the swing pass out to Khalil Shakur if that end ended up dropping, pressured him. That to me was a bigger issue than Kincaid dropping the ball. So I don't know why no one has pointed that out, but that's his job. And there's 18 seconds on the game clock. So it wasn't like the clock was running down and he just had to run the play. They had time. He could have made that adjustment. He didn't, and it cost him the game. I
think Shakir was open. You could have thrown to Shakir. That the first part I have to watch it back. I wish we were showing it on repeat, but I just feel like they couldn't get it done. That was a brilliant take. I know we have so much coming with Out of Pocket with RG3. All the breakdowns. He's saving it for the pod. Please go subscribe. Please go listen. I'll ask you on the way out. We'll take a TV break, but we're still live on YouTube. Okay. I want to ask you, what is fair, or what should be the question about Josh Allen this morning? What is fair? What is a fair? Because I'm seeing Bills fans say he's not the guy. He's not the one. He's never going to beat him. What's a fair question of Josh Allen this morning?
Yeah, we also talked about this in the pregame show, and I felt convicted in it at that time, and I feel the same now. Take yourself into Josh Allen's mind. Take yourself into the Bills organization's mind. I'll answer your question first. He is the guy. He's the guy. He's a great quarterback. You don't get rid of great quarterbacks. But now they've lost to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in every way imaginable. They lost when he was playing Superman ball. They lost when he was protecting the ball.
Yeah.
They lost when they had great defense and got a turnover on Mahomes. So to them, it's like, if we can't beat him in any of these ways, how can we beat him? They can't. They need the Cincinnati Bengals to beat him. Okay.
So you're saying Josh Allen cannot beat Patrick? You're willing to say he will not beat Patrick Mahomes, this Bills team?
I'm not willing to say that. I'm just saying, in their mind, mentally, now they're feeling like, how do we beat this guy? We even tried to copy their formula, play better defense, get turnovers, and football, because the Chiefs have been one of the best running teams in the playoffs during their Super Bowl runs. So that to me is the psyche. But the bigger thing is, I do believe that Patrick Mahomes has turned Josh Allen into Phillip Rivers. This was Josh Allen's opportunity to be Tom Brady. To be Peyton Manning. Manning started 0-2 against Brady, then finished 3-2. If Josh would have got this win, he would have been 1-3 against Mahomes, and I think that would have made them confident that in the future, hey, we can continue to beat this team. Now they're in no man's land. They have no idea how to beat the Chiefs. They can play perfect, and it's still not perfect enough because they're not playing perfect enough in the right times during the game. So now Josh Allen is on a Phillip Rivers trajectory, and that's not a bad trajectory. Phillip just doesn't have any Super Bowls.
Yeah, what I was saying, they have nothing to show for how good they are, and that will be forgotten at some point, which is tough. It's very tough. Heartbreaking. RG3, we appreciate it so much, guys. Watch, listen, subscribe to Out of Pocket. Even though the Commanders lost, a smiley RG3 as always. Thank you for the analysis and the takes. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Hopefully you're taking a nap at some point, my friend. Thank you. Okay. From his Instagram? I want to know how many hours this man has slept. It's B-roll or shot?
Yes, sir. 3 times on that.
I feel like you should have a bigger. You look like it's just a normal day at the office there, Joshua Williams.
What's up? What's up? Nah, don't say that. This is the 3rd time. I'm not getting used to it. I promise. This is just,
can I see that? But can I see that again? Can we just put it in the screen with us? Potentially, can we re-rack that?
Let's see that.
I had not seen that. Confetti is falling. It is your 3rd straight AFC champion. Where's the smile?
Listen, I did all the smiling right before the video. Now I'm trying to get my cool little Instagram video. You know what I'm saying? I want to play it cool. I don't want to look too excited.
Okay.
I need everybody to know, like, okay, I can handle the moment, you know.
How much have you slept?
Actually, I got a good amount of sleep. My family was in town. We came home. We relaxed. We watched a movie. And then, yeah, I was in bed by like a good, you know, midnight, 1 a.m. And now I'm over here well-rested and ready to talk to you.
Thanks for joining the show. Congratulations to you. A well-earned trip to the Super Bowl yet again. I want to know, you're sitting there. It's your home crowd. Everything's happening. Great game. You're obviously doing your thing on special teams. When did you know you guys would win the game?
I mean, honestly, I felt it all through the game. I mean, I'm sure every player come there and say that. But we do a lot of just preparation through the week, you know, putting ourselves in a position where, okay, we're up big or we're down big. And at one point, we're up 10, 11 points in the game. And, you know, even during that time, you need to have that same even keel as if, you know, I'm still attacking, I'm still playing because, you know, they eventually did come back and they went up on us. So having that, you know, just attack mentality and that stable mindset to keep grinding, keep pushing it out, I feel like that's what keeps us in these games and prepares us for the 4th quarter close games that we have.
And then there's the confetti, there's the speeches, there's the Felix. What's the Felix? What is the Felix? Do you know what that is?
The Felix dance.
Go
You saw
on.
Felix dance.
Can you teach me?
Hey, man. You know what? I really can't. He might have a copyright or something on that. I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
My favorite thing about talking to you is that it is literally as if you worked a 9-to-5 job and you clocked out at 5 and you went home and no big deal. Like you weren't out all night celebrating, you weren't whatever. This is kind of like I'm a little like impressed by it, but also a little sad that you don't sort of treat it.
No. I don't want this to seem like a 9-to-5. I worked a 9-to-5 before. That was a completely different look than this look.
What was the 9-to-5 you worked?
Before I made it here, I worked at Domino's.
Okay.
I worked security at Walmart.
Okay.
I was a car detailer. Look, I went D2. I done had a few little jobs and, you know, quick change type deals. So I done clocked in before.
So this wasn't that?
No, not at all.
Okay,
Not at all. It was a completely different look on my face. You wouldn't have liked that, Josh.
I would have loved to roll up into Domino's and have it be your face that I'm seeing.
No, I wasn't the best employee. I don't want you to get that.
I bet you could write a book on doing security at Walmart.
You know what? I'm not going to sit here and say I can because there's people out there who worked with me and they would be very upset I wrote a book.
Yikes. Okay, let's get back to business here. You, McDuffie, Karlaftis, Jalen Watson, you have the chance to make history as the only players to have 3 Super Bowl rings in their first 3 years in the league. Is that insane? What do you think about that?
I mean, honestly, coming into the league and when we got drafted, Coach Merritt, you know, he was our DB coach. He said, you know, you guys are going to do something special. You guys are going to make history. And, you know, I'm sure every coach says that to their draft class and, you know, gets these guys riled up and pumped up. But last night after the game we were celebrating, he came up to all of us and he said that. And, you know, it definitely reminded me, you know, he called this, he claimed this. And now that it's in front of us, and coming into fruition and we have that opportunity to make it happen, I mean, it's a blessing, like, you know, for you as a rookie to make it to a Super Bowl, that's, you know, unheard of. That's a blessing. And to win it, you know, to do it twice, super, super, super rare. I don't know how many people have done that. To be able to do it 3 times, I mean, and cement your name and your legacy into, you know, the history books, it's really just, you know, I really don't know how to explain it. I'm just trying to make sure I do my part, do everything I can to make sure we do end up hitting that goal.
And you did, and you did, and you did it in the last Super Bowl win against this Eagles team, so we'll dig into that a little bit. You're sitting there watching this game unfold. I'm at home. Every time the Bills quarterback sneak or do the same thing on fourth down, I'm like pulling my hair out. Like, why are we doing this? Did you have the same thought? Because Spags, nobody has an answer for the tush push. How does Spags?
I mean, I don't blame the Bills for doing that. They have a big, strong quarterback back there, 6'6" and 250 pounds or whatever. So, that's usually an easy pickup right there for them.
Okay.
And, all the things we practiced during the week, a lot of them were short yardage, third and fourth down. And, during the week, he's telling us, we have to get these stops. We have to get these stops. Yeah. A lot of times you get into the game and it's not exactly what you did at practice because there's so much, other factors, you being tired, them going right to the line and quick hiking it. I think our defense just did a good job getting back up there. Everybody getting in their gaps, shooting their gaps, and we picked up the stops because of that.
What if Spags left your team and became a head coach somewhere? What would your reaction be if you woke up and heard that news someday?
I mean, selfishly, I would always want him as a coach, but he's such a great talent and such a great mind. I'd be happy for him. I wouldn't, ever want him to just be confined to, whatever he thinks his confinement is. I want him to make it to his top of the top, be the highest that he can be and reach all his potential. And, I know he would do a good job. Spags is just a great mind. He's been around great coaches with him in the building who also speak with him and I'm sure could point him in the right direction. So, I have the utmost confidence if he did get that opportunity, he'd make the most of it. As for right now, I'm glad he's my defensive coordinator and about to lead us to another Super Bowl.
Josh, I enjoy talking to you so much. It is hard for me to understand that people hate you. They hate your teammates. They hate everything about you. What does that feel like?
I mean, honestly, a lot of times you just have to put that stuff to the side. That comes with just being at this stage. There's a lot of great guys that are in the locker room that just get, the worst hate, the worst kind of messages on social media, whatever it is. And sometimes you just have to realize, like, these people don't influence your life directly. The people around you, your coaches, your family, these are the people that you should be playing for and just putting it all on the line for. Sometimes you might get caught up with all the things going on and all the storylines being put out about you or your team or whatever. But, just to remember who you're going to work with every day, who you're out there, putting your body on the line for and doing all this extra preparation for. That's kind of what keeps you just, motivated to keep going and kind of to block all that nonsense out.
You do put your body on the line. I'm watching you yesterday, obviously throughout, like you've had your moments and you are out there on every meaningful special teams snap. What does it mean to you to crush that role at this point in the season?
I mean, I feel like everybody, offense, defense, special teams is just doing everything they need to do just to hit that goal and hit that target. Everybody has a role on the team they have to play. Sometimes those things change throughout the season. And I think especially here at the Chiefs, there's no egos. There's no, too much personality where somebody's just upset or they don't want to, fulfill a specific role. So whatever the coaches ask for is everybody goes 100%. We have Coach Tobe, Coach Hill every week in our special teams meetings just talking about, go out there, do your job, cut loose, have fun. And when we do those things, a lot of things like returns, big returns happen because of, one guy making one specific block that might have not, showed up on the replay or the highlights. But that's what, puts Patrick Mahomes in the position to go down there, put 7 more points on the board. Or maybe it's punt, you winning your rep is going to pin the defense down inside the 10. And, now Chris Jones goes in there and gets a sack. Trent goes in there and gets a pick, whatever it is. So you just have to go out there, play your role so other guys can do their job.
What was the most special part of yesterday? Because obviously you've been there, you've done that. Was there a part that was unique to yesterday's win? Or maybe it was just seeing the players who haven't been to the promised land like you have get their moment to have the confetti?
Yeah, I think the first 2 years, not really in a selfish way, but just, for me not have, been there, especially my rookie year, it was more so me just, taking it all in, seeing how I felt, just kind of feeling all the feelings I was feeling. Yesterday, I got so much joy just from seeing some of the rookies and the new players that we have on our team come in and enjoy the festivities, seeing my family and their families all just so happy.
Yeah.
I mean, that that can kind of just light a fire under you, and makes you feel
Who's
good
that
all
to your
inside
right?
to get those warm. That was my dad.
Your dad
my
just as
older
serious
sister,
as
Madison.
you.
No, I promise you, that's just how
Go
he
back to
looks.
that.
It's a genetic thing. I don't know.
I need to
Sometimes
see.
our face just is still.
Look at
but he's a real
him.
funny. Listen, I'm telling you, he's funnier than me. He has way more personality than me. He just has a thick Caribbean accent. That's the only difference between me and him.
And so they're here. Tell me you're taking them to. First of all, do you have something to thank me for this morning?
I have a million things to thank you for. For one, my rookie year, right? I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
But my rookie year, I don't know if you remember, I came on Good Morning Football,
Yeah.
and I was nervous. I had my little suit on. I was telling my sister about this the other day because she's a big fan of you, and I didn't talk about it last time I was on here.
Okay.
I came on, and you were just talking about how well dressed I was. Man, it made me feel all good inside. Second off, I'm sure you heard the news. My favorite breakfast spot.
Go on.
We worked out a deal, homegrown. Shout out to homegrown. All of that, promo I gave
Let's
on the
go.
show last
Pancakes.
week. It kind of gave me a little deal. I get free food, and we actually have this nice deal to where if you come in and get a red velvet pancake, every pancake
what?
eaten, we donate $1.
Oh.
A red velvet pancake.
Red
we call it the
velvet
big red
pancake.
Yeah, it's really good.
What's
you
the
go in
thing
there
you
and
told
get
me
one.
you get? Take it. It's not. I don't have it written down here. What do you order?
I order the It Takes the Cake special.
It takes the cake special, but you're saying for every big red pancake, so it's a red velvet pancake at homegrown restaurants, not you're worldwide, Wichita and Kansas City for Joshua Williams. Homegrown donates $1 to Children's Mercy Hospital. That is amazing. I love that for you. Look at that cool pancake. Joshua Williams partnering with Homegrown. Who would have thought? We love it. You're going to the Super Bowl. DeAndre's going to the Super Bowl. Kareem Hunt's going to the Super Bowl. We have just a few seconds left. We're sitting at Homegrown. You've got your big family, your sister, who I love. Great. Everybody's at the table. You're drinking your coffee, you're eating your pancakes, and I say Eagles. What is the first thing that comes to your mind? Philadelphia Eagles.
Talented. I think we all know what they can do. I think we all know who they have back there running the ball and, just the weapons they have. But I am very confident that we're going to come up with a great game plan these next 2 weeks. I'm sure they want to get their revenge back for a couple years ago. But like I said, we do a lot of preparation through the week, so I'm very confident in what we're going to be able to go out there.
Yeah, I think you guys looked pretty confident yesterday. I'm so excited for you. I know you covered A.J. Brown quite a bit in Super Bowl 57. We'll see what happens in a couple of weeks. Enjoy time with your family. The fact that you took time for us when you've got a full house of people, thank you so much.
Absolutely. And they're all saying hi. They love you, by the way. Okay, my sister's special.
Say hi back to them. And, of course, your serious dad. Love him.
All right.
Thanks, Joshua. Bye,
it.
Williams family.
Bye-bye.